When you play the Game of Thrones, you
Subscribe and like.
or you die. There is no middle ground.
All right, hello YouTube. Welcome back to the Greasecom YouTube channel. And right away, before we get into the actual video, I mentioned this in the last video I did with the Aeron kind of Myrcella getting crowned in Dorne. What would you guys think about me doing a kind of a Feast for Crows summary review? It wouldn't be nearly as in-depth as my reread series with the first book, but it would be like, you know, we take like 45 minutes, an hour, and we kind of review about every 200 pages of A Feast for Crows. It would be around like a 4-part series I'd probably do over this, and we kind of would just go through every chapter, give it like a brief summary, my thoughts on it, how I think the chapter like ranks, and more or less like my overall thoughts on it on each chapter in the first like quarter of the book. If you guys would like that idea, if you guys think you would enjoy watching that, let me know and I will do it. I'm trying to gauge if that would be something you guys would like. But let's get into today's video. So as you guys may have been able to tell from some of the recent videos, been rereading Feast for Crows, and I thought it'd be an interesting idea to look at why did Aeron Damphair, you guys fixed me on that in the last POV video we did with George R. Martin, that whole thing. So I appreciate that. I might not even be saying it right now. I don't think I've actually ever heard anyone actually say the name out loud. So if I'm saying it wrong still, let me know. But why did he call the Kingsmoot? Given the situation, right? So Balon has just died and there needs to be a new ruler. And Euron has placed himself on the throne, and you have, again, Asha saying that she should be the heir to Balon wanted to be his successor. And you have Victarion, who's kind of like, I think what most people want. He's more of a warrior king, kind of like Balon, and he's the more, I guess, rational of the Greyjoys, which is weird to say, but, you know, that's how I guess they viewed it. And he was, I guess, he's the one where the Drowned God would have liked the most based upon he was a male over Asha. That's kind of like the reasoning. But yeah, so before we get into the video, if you guys like to learn more about this topic, this world, Song of Ice and Fire, consider subscribing, and let's get into the video. So, Aeron Damphair calls this Kingsmoot. Now, let's look at the rationale. We know that Aeron, for one, does not want Euron to be the king. He's not a man of the Drowned God faith. He is not fit to sit the Seastone chair. But the issue you run into is that he is, if you're going off of the male line, he is the oldest male, right? He is right under Balon. But you come into a lot of issues here is because Aeron wants Victarion to be the person in charge. It's very biased that that's who he wants because he doesn't think that Asha as a woman can rule the Iron Islands. But he also knows that Euron is very cruel, that Euron is someone that does not respect the gods. And so he's kind of in a tight pickle because how do you sell that Victarion is the actual right person to rule? Like, Aeron can say we should go with Victarion because, you know, he's the godliest choice. That's who the Drowned God would want to be the king and all of that, and he's the best choice and yada yada yada. But you would still have people that would go, yeah, but Euron's the oldest male heir, and also Asha's a woman, but that's who Balon wanted to be the queen. So how does that work? And so I think when you're Aeron and you're looking at all of these things, and in your head you're thinking, wait a minute, a Kingsmoot, that would be perfect. Because now we're basing it on your popularity, your credentials, and letting, again, the people on the Drowned God pick who should be the ruler. And so this all makes sense for Aeron, but he overlooks the fact of how, again, cunning that Euron Greyjoy is, and something that he knows, but maybe he doesn't consider. Maybe his faith makes him believe that it's not going to matter. And in reality, given if you're going to put Victarion on the throne without bloodshed, because that's another thing, right? The Aeron does not want bloodshed. And if Victarion is the one that he chooses to back, he tells these people to back, inherently there's going to be a conflict between Euron and Victarion. And Victarion does not believe in killing his brother, right? Just outright like that. And so you come to this weird situation where it's like, okay, well, if I do this and all the Iron Islands back Victarion, well, I mean, Euron, how do you deny that? And if you do fight, it's like, well, now you're outnumbered. So you're going to lose. So that's kind of, I think, some of the rationale that you have here from Aeron is like, this is the best course of action that achieves all of my goals in the best possible way. Like, Aeron kind of puts it out there like this is just a religious thing, and that, you know, we're letting the gods choose and the people of the Ironborn choose. But in reality, Aeron sees this as a means to an end of getting Victarion on the throne. And in reality, he is kind of right. Like, going into the actual Kingsmoot, I think, like, most people believe the favorite is Victarion, that he will have the most support. And I think what's really interesting here is that if Asha had actually given her support to Victarion, I do think there is a good chance that Victarion could have won. Now, the biggest problem that ends up happening is that Victarion doesn't go last. If Victarion had went last before or after Euron, I think the whole thing could have gone much different. But it kind of shows, again, how clever Euron is, that he gets the last word. He's the one that is able to hear what the arguments are for, again, the two major candidates with Asha and Victarion, and he's able to kind of flip that on its head. He's able to say, why are both of these dumb, while giving his own. And yeah, I mean, and the thing is, right, Victarion is really offering exactly what the Ironborn wanted at this point, right? What Aeron wanted, right? To continue Balon's work. That's what Victarion would have done. It's a horrible plan because Balon's an idiot. I don't know why you would ever want to continue what Balon was doing, but that's just the Ironborn culture, and that's kind of what the people wanted. So again, all the signs, if you're looking at it without knowing what was going to happen, pointed to Victarion being the guy that was going to win. It's only because Euron is a very good manipulator. He's someone that's very clever, and he's someone that Aeron underrated, which is weird because Aeron is someone that would know how good Euron is at this stuff, but just has a miscalculation. And even then, I think this was the best chance that Aeron had of getting Victarion on the throne. So yeah, what do you guys think about the Kingsmoot? I you know, personally, I think when I did my top 10 chapters, I can't remember if I put it in my top 10 or it was like just outside of my honorable mentions, but the Kingsmoot is one of my favorite chapters in all of the books. And I do find it so fascinating because it's like a chess game in which there's a lot of different players. Like there's Aeron, who's playing to get Victarion on the throne. Victarion's playing, Euron, Asha. It's a very fascinating part of Feast for Crows. It's one of my favorite plot lines. But let me know what you guys think. Was there a better way of getting Victarion on the throne without bloodshed? Because that is the big point, right? Aeron and Victarion did not want to have to go into a battle or a war for the throne with Euron. That was the key point. So how do you guys think you could have achieved that differently if you were Aeron or Victarion? But yeah, let me know what you guys all think, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.